Hello, hello, hello. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys are all getting checked in. I know I have a few people signed up today. But welcome to Genetics Creations. I am going to start streaming live, so while I'm not new to tutorials overall, I'm going to start streaming live because I'm good at recording, but I tend to procrastinate everything that comes afterwards, so the post-production. So going live is going to prevent that and get you guys more content, plus you guys can ask questions. So if you are here, let me know you're here by letting me know in the chat. I am new to this, so if I don't respond to everybody, please don't take that personally. I'm just getting used to the software and everything that goes into all of this. So let me know you're here in the chat. I'd love to hear from you as we go throughout everything. Please ask questions, or even let me know things that maybe you're trying to learn. I have been crocheting now for, God, probably over 30 years. I've been doing it since I was a little kid, and I know a lot, but I may not know everything, but I can always find out and get you guys more information. But the goal of this channel is to teach everyone how to crochet. I meet a lot of people all the time that tell me they wish they knew how to crochet, and it blows my mind because it's not difficult per se once you have someone kind of walk you through it, and it can be very rewarding. So let's talk a little bit about the project that we're going to be working on today. Before I jump into that, just going to give a real quick shout out to my other addiction, and I'm showing off my nails. I'm also an independent stylist for Color Street Nails, and part of why I love these so much is that I can literally do my nails and then just turn around and keep stitching, because it is dry nail polish, and dry nail polish means literally you just rub it on. There's no tools. It's real nail polish. It dries just like real nail polish, and you can go ahead and get a million colors and keep going, because I don't have time. I don't have downtime. If you're anything like me, I don't have downtime. So the link for that is below, so check that out, and if you have questions about that along the way, again, feel free to message me in the chat, or you can do so in my email. But let's take a look at that project. So today, I am going to be going over one of my favorite shawls. Let me see if I can get that up for you guys. There we go. And if you guys can see it, someone let me know in the chat, because it would just help me out to make sure that I am doing all of these things correctly. But this is the pattern. I do sell it on Etsy. This pattern is linked as well in the chat, but I'm going to actually run through it all with you guys today, so you guys will learn how to make your very own. But I want to show you, it's like a fishnet style, so you're going to have very open pattern going throughout. I love the fact that you can get a full project with a little bit less yarn. And then also the one reason I love this one is because it is a little bit lighter. It's not so bulky around the neck. I know a lot of people are very picky about stuff like that. But I've seen people use this in a variety of different ways. So some people are wearing it as a shawl. Some people are wearing it as a bathing suit cover, believe it or not. So this lighter style tends to be something that is a little more year-round. I am always in this style of a scarf, so I take it with me camping, I take it with me to the gym. I literally am always wearing this. It's on top of all of my layers. So I'll just show you a little bit of a close-up. Here's what we're going to be going for, is this nice open effect. So it's going to create little boxes as we go, but I promise you this is super beginner friendly. And then at the end, I'll also walk you through how to do the tassels here. Super easy, great finish. But again, if you don't like fringe on the ends, tassels. If you don't like fringe on the end, guys, you can always omit that part. With the patterns that have less texture in the body, I tend to do fringe, and if it has a lot of texture in the body, I tend not to do fringe. So, but the great news is you'll be creating your own, and so you can go ahead and make it your own once you are done with this and you know exactly how to get going. So there's just a few different options, but let's go ahead and get stitching. If you are new to crochet, let me get rid of this screen because we no longer need this. Perfect. And if I miss any of your questions in the chat or anything along the way, again, I'm new to this. I'll go back through and I promise you I will respond to everything. I know sometimes there's a little bit of a delay, but I will get into it. So go ahead and hit me up and I will get you guys all situated. So a little bit about hooks. If you're new to crochet, I'm going to use the bigger ones so you guys can see better because I know it's a little bit hard through the camera. There's a few different kinds of hooks. I tend to use this top one. It's called a Susan Bates, or I've also heard of it as an inline. I know it gets a little bit blurry when I'm not directly on the thing. But you also have this tapered hook, or I've also heard it called as a boye, B-O-Y-E, don't ask me if I'm pronouncing that right, hook. I've been told that this one is better for beginners. I personally despise this style hook. The Susan Bates ones have just a little bit stronger of an indentation, and for me, it prevents me from dropping the stitches. So take that for what you will. I've been told this is better for beginners. However, I have always used this style hook. I almost refuse to ever use this style hook, and every time I have to, things tend to go a little wonky. So I would suggest this one. They do come in packs, which give you a lot of, I mean, literally, guys, if you guys are questioning whether or not I suggest the items I'm using or I use the items I suggest, this cheap pack, I have the link in the description. It's like $8 or $9, I think, and it gets you most of the sizes that you will need for most projects. You can opt to get these bigger size hooks when you are doing bulkier yarns, or if you want to double up the yarn so that you can create that bulkier look, which is super in trend, so you might want to think about that. These bigger ones are available in both options. The Susan Bates, it's that aluminum. I like that personally because the yarn tends to slide better and it doesn't get caught up when I'm trying to get my rhythm and really get going. That kind of stuff is important. However, when you are a beginner, the plastic or the rosin ones that are very popular and super cheap, they might be easier just because the yarn doesn't tend to slide as much, so you might feel like you have a little more control. So just a few things to consider there. You don't need a yarn needle for this pattern. However, I know a lot of people are recommended yarn needles, so I just want to talk about two different kinds real quick. A lot of kits will come with these plastic or rosin versions. These are great. They do the job. It makes weaving in ends at the very end of your project super easy. This project doesn't have anything you'll have to weave in, so this is another one that makes this pattern one of my favorite go-to patterns. But you also have these metal ones that are all the same, but I usually like to use one that has the big eye in it. Now, most of the metal ones, if you guys are doing anything that has beading in it, some people incorporate beads into their projects, I can tell you, or buttons. Buttons is another one. These tend not to go through the hole of the buttons or the beads, whereas the metal ones tend to be a little bit slimmer, and so it's a little bit more friendly if that's something you're going to incorporate to your project. So headbands and stuff like that, I often put buttons on them. And if you are using this style of hook, or I'm sorry, this style of needle, you're going to struggle to get that through the buttonhole, so you may want to opt for these metal ones. The metal ones, I do have a link for the ones that I got. This actual packet, that is also in the links below. Those are affiliate links. You guys know the whole thing with that, but I promise you I do a lot of shopping to try to find the best bang for your buck. Yarn. My favorite yarn to use this, and the one you saw in most of the photos that I just showed you, are these comfy cotton blends. Now, the good, bad, and ugly about this yarn, it is an amazing yarn. It weighs a little bit more like cotton, so you get a better draping effect. But they are discontinuing this one. You can still get it. I found it on Amazon. The ones that I was able to find, I put links below. But you are going to find that it's going to be harder and harder to find this. So any cotton blend will weigh a little bit heavier, but you don't need the cotton blend in order to make this scarf and do what you want with it. I have often also used this acrylic yarn. Pound of Love is one of my favorite acrylic yarns. Tends to be a little bit softer than some of the other, and for the, I mean, you're getting a pound of yarn. It's about 1,000 yards, and they're usually about 12 to 13 bucks, and you can often get them on sale. So super great deal. I did put some links below on the Pound of Love yarn, so you guys can do that as well. Don't forget, while gauge is not important, it's super not important on this project, it is important on other projects, and you want to make sure you're using the right hook, or you're going to get altered effects. You might get too tight of a stitch, or you might get too loose of a stitch, and depending on what you are making, you may not like that. Easiest way, guys, is to do what the yarn tells you. most yarn bundles, and this is the easiest one to show you with because my camera will not focus on it when it gets, I mean, you see it here, whoop, you see it here. They have these little keys that will show you, this is another great yarn, it has a super great texture, but we can do a whole video on yarn some other day. But you'll see they all have these little indicators for what the weight of the yarn is, as well as the knitting suggested needles and the crochet hooks that are suggested. So as you can see here better, this is a 4, not every 4 is the same, 4 medium weight. I know it sounds like you're learning a different language, but guys, I promise you, it'll start feeling more natural the more you just kind of hear it. So ask your questions, I'll get back to you, and I'll definitely explain anything you need. But here you go. You've got 4 medium weight. This one, it recommends the knitting needles as such, and crochet hooks. J10 6mm is what's recommended. So that just kind of gives you an idea. And you might be going, well, how do I know which hook is which? Most hooks on the flat part, boom, they'll tell you right there. And this is a J10. This one says 6mm on it. A little hard to see, but when you get them, you'll see exactly what I mean. For the purpose of this video, I am going to be using just some generic acrylic yarn in a light color because I'm hoping it'll be easier for you all to see from where you're at. But I will try to keep my eye on the screen as well to make sure that everything is in focus and it's easy to see. And I know us crocheters have a habit of blocking where you're supposed to insert the hook with our fingers. I will do my best to avoid that for you guys. But if you need me to demonstrate anything, feel free to just put it in the chat. I'll be happy to go right through it again and help you guys all out. Another thing you might need is something like a pencil box. I'll explain why later. When it comes to making the tassels, I use a pencil box or a book just to get the same length. A nice book will work. Just anything along the same lines as that size, so that way you guys can be consistent and get them done quick. So let's start diving in. Yeah, we're going to dive into the pattern. So to get started, you're going to need your yarn and your hook. How to hold it, I've seen people hold the hook like this. I've seen people hold a hook like this. I will never for the life of me understand how people crochet using it like a pencil. I have always held it like a knife, I guess, or like a fork or a spoon. So you'll go there. Start with a slip knot. I know slip knot for a lot of people can be very scary. I'm going to leave a decently long tail, nothing too big. This is going to become part of my tassel at the end, so you don't want to leave it super short or you're going to have to kind of disguise it. Leave it long enough so that you can just blend it in. A slip knot. Let's make sure I go slow enough for you guys. This is the side that is cut, and I have my yarn on the left. I am right-handed. If you are left-handed, obviously you'll want to flip this and go as such. But to do a slip knot, I'm literally just going over, kind of creating an X. I'm pulling that under and through. It's no different than tying. No different than if you were to kind of tie your shoes and do that beginning. The only difference is you're not going to pull the end all the way through. So don't overthink it. Slip knot. Just go around. Create that loop. Reach through. And don't pull the end through. You're just pulling that loop through. I've also seen some people do the slip knot with their hook specifically. I feel like that's a little more confusing, but if you guys want, I can totally show you that later on. So as you're going, this is a very simple pattern. Once I get you going, the rest is going to be super easy, and you guys are going to take off and finish this without me, and you'll go until the project reaches the size that you prefer. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to read this as the pattern reads it so you guys kind of learn the language, but we're going to chain 6. So after your slip knot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now just a couple things to notate. Let me reach and grab my little fancy pointer. So yes, the yarn needles can be a pointer as well. The first 2 chains are going to be your half double crochet. So that's going to count as your first stitch. And then you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4 chains. That kind of becomes important as you move along, because I am someone who I hate counting stitches, and I hear that among the crochet community all the time. So the best way is to really start understanding what you're looking at and how it pertains to what you're creating. So you've got your half double crochet and your 4 chains going across, and now we're just going to work another half double crochet into that first chain. You can go right into this loop if you'd like. Let me make sure you guys can see that. You can go right into that braid, or what I've been liking to do lately is to go into the bump right into there. So, and we're just going to go there, but it's a half double crochet, so forgive me, I forgot to yarn over. We're going to yarn over and go into that bump right there. We're going to pull up 1 loop, yarn over and pull up all the rest of the loops on the hook. So that is your half double crochet. You should have this wonky looking triangle right there. So that's how so we did chain 6 and then a half double crochet in the same, or I'm sorry, in that first chain. We're going to chain 6 again and turn. 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, you guys get to hear me count. This is going to be the bottom of the shawl. We're going to be working in a big triangle. So this is the very middle and the bottom, and we're going to go out. So again, if you have a solid yarn skein, not a big deal. You don't really care about this, but if you are someone, and I know someone out there because she showed me what she was going to be using, Jen, if you're out there, I'm talking to you. If you're using anything with a gradient, I don't know what the right way is to say it, but work with me here. It will create a striping effect going horizontal. Not saying it's good or bad, just want you to be prepared, because some people are really finicky about your horizontal versus your vertical stripes. So if you are someone who doesn't like that, you might want to stick with a solid color or something that has something more consistent like this. Otherwise, it looks great. I've done it on several pieces. It'll create striping going up, and then when it's draped and wrapped around the neck, it kind of just creates like a whole fun mix of colors. So it's great for any yarn, I promise. So we've done the half double crochet into the beginning. We've now chained 6, and now we're going to turn. And you should have something like this. This is the part that's going to repeat. So you're going to chain 6, turn. That is your half double crochet and your chain 4. Now we're going to single crochet into the triangle, or the box at this point. It's going to start looking like a box, so just work with me. Single crochet, you insert hook, yarn over, pull up 1 loop, yarn over, pull up 2 loops. That is literally the direction. So if you ever need to know how to do a stitch and you Google it, Google the instructions on how to do a single crochet, it's going to describe it to you as such. So if you are someone that feels comfortable learning something without being shown and you can just go and look it up, that's how you would hear it and speak it, is the yarn over, insert hook, and that's literally how you're following it. So after we've done the single crochet, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and on that last one, we're going back to finishing with a half double crochet. But you want to find the second chain from the hook, because you want to do it at the top of the half double crochet from below. So we're going to yarn over. I'm going to find, this can get a little tricky, sorry, yarn over, and we're going to find that 1, 2, we're going to go into this second one. This one can be a little wonky. I like to grab 2 loops, so you'll have one there and you'll have the one on the bottom. So just go into the second chain, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up all 3. And as you can see, you should now have something like that. The bottom, 2 squares. The next one we're going to have 4. So I'll walk you through that. We'll keep going for a few rows until I leave you kind of on your own per se, but all I'm going to do is walk you through the tassels once we get going for a few times so that you can finish this on your own and be proud of your new shawl. So we're going to chain 6 again and turn. If you drop it, just, there you go. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I told you guys, I hate counting. I can't even count to 6. Look at how it goes. I know I'm not alone. And turn. So we've now done the half double crochet, the chain 4, and now we are single crochet in the box. Pull up 1, pull up 2, chain 4. 1, 2. Oh my goodness. 3. Mind you, I'm not used to crocheting on a table. I'm usually crocheting in my lap, so that's probably why I'm going to drop stitches a lot more. Single crochet into that box. Chain 4. And I see you, Jen. Yeah, I see that you switched the yarn. You'll have to show me what you actually got in there. And I don't know who Personal is, but glad you're here. I'm glad you're learning something new. That's why I do it. We're going to half double crochet in the second one. So yarn over. Now sometimes to grab it, here's my cheat, is sometimes I'm going backwards. You're not always going to have the stitch where the braid's on top. That's just because it's turning. So if you see that bump, that actually can be used to your advantage. This is how I end up doing it to save time. I'll go backwards and just get the hook under the bump, because it will naturally grab the 2 that were on the bottom to begin with, the 2 in the braid. And then you'll see, hopefully you can see that. And then you've got the 1 on the bottom. So just yarn over, insert the hook on the second, and you're going to pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 3. We are already in the repeat mode. I should give a prize out for whoever can tell me what to do next, but we'll cheat. So we're going to chain 6, and we're going to turn again. There's our 6, that is our half double crochet, and our 4 chains, flip, and into the first box, single crochet. We're starting to get a rhythm now. Chain 4. Oh, that's Angel. Hey, Angel. Hope your workout's going well. I know that you said you were going to be working out. You better be working very hard. I did my workout this morning, so I don't feel so bad telling you that. After single crochet, again, chain 4. And then we're going to single crochet into that last box. And chain 4. We're at that last section now, so again, half double crochet. Guys, we're in the repeat section, so this is literally what you're going to be doing for the rest of the project. We'll do a couple more rows together, just so you know you're not making any boo-boos, because I know how it can go. But again, you can see that my chain is facing away from me. It's facing down, so I'm just going to do the same thing where I use my hook to cheat and just separate that 1. It'll be a little bit tight, but you'll pop it through. Yarn over, pull up 1. Yarn over, pull up 3. See, you've got yourself a little baby triangle forming. Now it will look like it's flaring out, and as it gets bigger, it's going to be more intense. I promise you, it will calm down, I guess is the best way to describe it, because first off, as you wear it, things are going to kind of stretch, and you'll see it'll kind of stretch like this, and this line will get more straight. Plus, when you have the tassels on, it adds weight. Tassels. I don't know why I keep calling it tassels. The fringe. It will add weight, and it will just naturally block it out for you. I know they say to color block everything. I'm not the best at that either. I have a lot of bad habits. I think we're going to learn that together as you guys take more classes with me. But we're just going to keep going. So we're going to chain another 6. That was 4. 5, 6, and then we're going to turn. I just want to get a little bit further so I can show you guys the tassels and so you can see exactly what's going on. This can be made for a kid, it can be made for an adult. You're just going to start going for what is the length. I like to go until my length reaches 60 to 65 inches across, and that's just because I'm taller and I feel like things are never long enough for us tall folks. So if you guys are tall, you understand. So again, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, chain 4. Let's start making remix songs to the stitches. Single crochet, chain 4. And we're back to this part. We're going to half double crochet, not in the first one, but in this second one. I'm going to cheat because it is face down, and I'm just going to let the hook do the work. Pull through all 3. Chain 6. Shorty over here. Yeah, I just saw that. Okay, so you may want to do 60 inches or 55 instead of 65. But you know what? That's okay. Or you may want to measure it and actually throw it on yourself, because this center part of the shawl can get very long and you may not want it to hit, like when I wear it sometimes because it's super dramatic, it'll hit below my waistline. So if you're someone that may not want it to hit that point on your body, you could probably opt for a shorter option just to make sure it's not as crazy. But again, guys, single crochet into that first box. 1, 2, 3, 4, and as you can see, it starts working up pretty quickly. Now, most scarves need like 800 to 1,000 yards. I usually find that this pattern, I can get away with about 650 yards or something like that. So when you're thinking about the cost of yarn and things like, do I have enough to get through the whole project? This can be a great one for saving yarn and really stretching that budget. We're at the end, and I know this is the only tricky part, but I promised you it was easy, so there we go. We're yarning over. There's the first one. There's the second one. I'm going to let the hook do the work. I got lost. I have to rewatch later. Not a problem. If there's a part that you got lost on, I might be able to re-demonstrate, but that's the great news. This video is going to be available after this, so save the link. 3, 4, 5, and 6. We're going to flip it. Now, one thing I am going to touch on is tension. I know that's something that a lot of crocheters struggle with, so I will let you know. I've always just held yarn like this. I hold my project with my fingers, my bottom 2 fingers, and my thumb always hold my project, and I just pinch my yarn with the 2 top fingers. There are some yarns I struggle to keep tension with more than others. When I am using this cotton yarn, for example, it slides. It slides a lot, and I tend to not, I'll make my hand sore trying to pinch it and hold it because it glides easily through my fingers. This acrylic yarn is a little bit rougher, so I tend not to struggle with that. But if you do, I recommend trying to loop or lace, or however you want to describe it, the yarn around a finger before putting it through those, as that can help maintain the tension without you having to use your hand muscles, because I know your hands can get very sore if you're not careful about paying attention to that. So I'll walk you through how I do it. There's a million different ways to hold yarn, guys, a million different ways, and you're going to want to find what works for you, but I recommend sticking with what does not make you uncomfortable, because your hands will get sore, and I know a lot of people out there can struggle with a lot of issues, and you want to prevent that. So I tend to just grab it with my pinky. I let the rest go on the back side of my hands, and then I let it come through between my pointer and my middle finger again, and then I'm ready to go. So that's if I want to hold more tension. Yarn like this, I tend to just pinch it because I don't have problems with acrylic yarn and maintaining tension. But just some other tips for you all. We'll do one more row together, and then I'll show you guys some of the tassel, or the fringe action. Single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4, single crochet, chain 4. Half double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, not the first one, but we're going to go in the second one, grab that, oops, I wanted to separate that one. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, and pull up through all three. Okay, so real quick, you can see how this is. Let me stretch it out so you can see better what's going on, but it will create that triangle. These blocks will always look a little bit bigger, but once you put the fringe in them, it will mask that hugely, and it will end up being the project that you see. Let me grab one for you guys to see. So, as you guys keep on going, let's fix that, it will get to be much larger, and it will be as such. So, there's the center point. This is the center point, and then we kept going out. So once you get to the part where this measures your desired length, again, I choose 65 inches, that just tends to be my sweet spot, then you're going to just simply cut it and fasten off. So I'm going to I know this is a super small wannabe scarf, and I get that it doesn't look exactly as pretty as the other one, but just so you guys can actually come back to this and finish your project without me, some classes I'll be able to walk you through a whole project in one sitting. Some classes I might have to walk it in sections and at least give you guys what you need, so when you get to the end you can do the rest without me. Let me know how this works as we keep moving forward. I would love your ideas and your suggestions, maybe even things you want to learn. Please put that in the comments, because I'm totally down to make this class yours and really create it as yours. So you've gotten to the part where this is 65 inches. You've done your half double crochet into that second chain. Now we're going to fasten off. So you're going to leave this probably about the same length as your first one, but you're just going to leave this a little bit long, and you're going to cut it. And to finish, I just pull through again. So I'm just going to yarn over, pull through all the way. Pull that tight. And we're going to start showing you how I do the fringe. So we're going to set this kind of aside. And I'm going to take my yarn, give us some slack here so I can make a few and walk you through it. Okay, so I mentioned I use a pencil box. And let's we're going to adjust that. So I use a pencil box. It's just always given me the length that I have liked. You can use a book. Shoot, I've got like a weird picture frame. You can use anything that's kind of just going to hold the yarn in this fashion. You're going to want to hold it and go around a few times. I usually am not at a desk, so this gets a little bit creative here. Alright, so let's say I've done a few. It's going around, nothing fancy, okay? And then I'm just literally going to cut it. So I'm holding it, and I'm going to cut. This makes them all the same length, which is amazing, because otherwise you're going to be sitting there, measure cut, and nobody's got time for that. So it is up to you how thick you want the fringe to be. I usually am doing either 3 or 4 strands at a time. And I'll have like a ton of these because I'll usually do way more than what I did for this video. But I'll pull my 4. I'll kind of fold them in half. I've got my loop. Same hook is fine. And I'm working in the boxes. I start with the bottom. Now this is why I say you don't have to weave in the ends on this, because what you're going to do, get this out of the way so it's easier for you to see, is you're going to loop all of these and you're going to pull through. I'm going to pick up this one so I can pull it through with the rest, and it will hide that tail. So just make sure you pull through all these just as so. Hopefully that all made sense. You're going to pull it tight, and every now and then you get one of these strands that likes to stick up, and you're just going to have to kind of pull them one at a time until you find that one. And there it was that one, and that way you can get it all nice and tight in there. This is the only one you're going to have to go back through, and that was that end. That's where we started. So you're going to want to cut that to match the length of the others. And I'm going to trim that one just because. Okay. And boom, you have your first fringe. Now, again, depends on how thick you want your fringe to be. You can put one here, and in every box across. Or what I do is I do every other box. I don't like it super heavy on the fringe, so I'm going to skip this box, and the next fringe I'm going to work is going to be right into here. So we're going back to our pieces. I'm going to do 4 more. We're going to fold them in half. And I'm going to put the hook from the back to the front. We're going to grab the center, pull all those strands through, not all the way. We're going to reach back through and grab the rest of those and use the hook to pull it through that loop all the way down. And there we go. So you'll keep going. The only thing I would recommend is always end by putting a tassel in this corner piece, because if you don't, you're going to have one here, and then you'll end up with this weird bulge. So even if you end up putting one here, I always throw in one here. So that, yeah, you might have every other one, and then you get to this box and you'll have one here and you'll have one here. It'll still look like every other one because it's going to be on that corner and it'll pull it further away. I don't have 4 strands, but I'll show you just kind of how that looks with these. And, whoops, insert the hook. You're going to pull it through. You're going to go back, grab all those loops, oops, and pull that through. And then that way, as you can see, it finishes out that corner because it's pulling it out. So you always want to make sure your final fringe is going to be in this box and not in this box. That's going to make it easier. So if you end up putting one in this box, throw in an extra one here. If you end up putting one in this box, you can just throw in one here and it will be, you won't be able to tell. You've got so much going on with the scarf, you won't be able to notice. It'll be a nice finished project. So that is how you do this shawl. So again, guys, you're just going to keep doing the same pattern all the way through until you get the project about 60 to 65 inches long, and then you'll have yourself a nice shawl. Now, just a couple ways to customize it, because I know we didn't talk about it on the way through. But if you are doing thinner yarns, so this, I know it says it's a 4, but all 4s are not the same. You'll see these are both weighted as a 4 medium weight, but you can see a huge difference. This one is much thicker than this one. That's okay, but when you get to do this pattern, you may find that the boxes are just going to be a little bit tighter than what you're seeing here. So if that's something that bothers you, I would switch the half double crochets and start doing double crochets instead. And instead of chaining 4, I would recommend chaining 5. I'm going to quickly walk you through that. So Jen, if you are still with me, the great news is you're going to see how to start it all over again. But I'll just quickly show you the double crochet version, and it just creates a more open look. So again, we start with a slip knot. Oops. So I wrap over, I create an X, I get my fingers out of there, I push that one through the back end, and I tighten it. Now double crochet is the equivalent of 3 chains, so we're going to do our 1, 2, 3 chains first, and I did say we were chaining 5 in each box, so I'm going to do another 5. So a total of 8 chains total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That counts as our first double crochet and our 5 chains. But now we're going to double crochet into this box. So again, this is if you are doing the bigger box option. Double crochet, you're going to yarn over. Whoops. There we go. Pull up 1, pull up 2, and pull up 2. See, it's starting to look exactly the same as what we did with the first option, but this triangle is just going to be a little bit bigger. I know you're not going to really be able to tell, but if you were in different yarns, you would start noticing how much of a difference that is. And if you wanted a more open effect and you had a thinner yarn, or you were using a smaller hook and were getting too tight of a result here, you're going to want to go this direction to get a looser result. So to continue with this more open box version, we're going to chain 8 again. And we're going to turn, and this part becomes very similar. Single crochet, chain 5. And then we're going to double crochet into the 3rd chain, not the 2nd, because remember, we're doing double crochets instead of the half double crochet. So 1, 2, 3. As you can see, that's the back side, so I'm going to come underneath and grab it that way. But we're going to double crochet. So pull up 1, pull up 2, pull up another 2. Someone can use this small shawl for a dog. Okay, I need to know how they would use it for a dog. My dog may not wear it. You mean like a bandana? Maybe. I could see that working if it was like a bandana version. I should totally do that for my dog. Again, we're going to chain 8. And we're going to turn. Da 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 da. And I'll do one more row with you. Again, just single crochet, chain 5. Single crochet, chain 5, and then a double crochet in the 1, 2, 3rd chain right there. Pull up 1, pull up 2, pull up 2. So as you can see, still a triangle, still the same effect, just much looser with a more open flow. So 2 totally different styles. And if you're doing this style, I'll go ahead and do one more with you so at least you guys know what is going on. You're going to chain 8 again. Eight, turn. We're going to single crochet in that first box, followed by a chain 5. We're going to single crochet again, chain 5, single crochet, chain 5. Double crochet, so yarn over, insert hook in the 1, 2, 3, but that 3rd chain, yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, pull up 2, yarn over, pull up 2. Alright. And you guys get the gist of it at that point. So you'll continue again until it reaches 65 inches long, or whatever size you're going for. It'll probably be smaller if it's for a kid. Or if you are using it for a dog, Jen, I don't even know, maybe like a few feet. Probably like 3 feet wide, or maybe 2, I don't know. Anyway, but there's the tighter option, and then you've got the longer option. So that is your shawl. Guys, this is what it ends up looking like. This is the pattern that is available on Etsy, and if you guys end up wanting to see that, the link is in the description. Great news, if you've made it with me this far, I have a special code you guys can go ahead and use and save 10% off of anything on my Etsy shop. So, the code is Get Hooked. GETHOOKED. You guys can use that for my patterns, or the items that I make are available for purchase as well. In fact, the items that I made for this pattern specifically, I'm going to be issuing in the next couple weeks. Those will be listed soon for sale, so if the images I showed you are something you would like to wear or purchase for a friend, make sure to follow my shop. Favorite your favorite item, because that also helps my algorithms and everything. But also don't forget to subscribe here. Subscribe here to this channel, because I am going to be doing these classes. My goal is every Wednesday at 2 Pacific Standard Time, because I am in California. But if you guys have anything that maybe you want to learn, maybe there's a pattern that you went ahead and purchased and you don't quite know how to navigate it, send it my way. Let me know. Hit me up in the comments. My email is also available on the YouTube channel. That is geneticscreations@gmail.com. But hit me up. Reach out to me. I'd love to help you guys out. I just believe that we can all keep stitching, and it is such a lost art that I'm so excited so many people still want to learn. So I will see you in the next class. If you guys liked this, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please, please, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next class. That's all I have for you today. I think I got to everyone's comments so far, but I know as people keep watching it, don't forget to save the link if you guys were going to revisit it or whatever. I will continue to respond to all of those comments as they keep coming in. Alright guys, I will see you next week. Take it easy. Bye! Thank you! You're awesome. I love you guys for being here. I'll see you guys next week.